Good morning, dear student. This is your science teacher, and today I am going to teach you science again. Today we continue with our ninth chapter of science, that is living organisms, living things, habitat and adaptation. We discussed in this chapter. So, what is adaptation? We already discussed that what is adaptation, the change of specific features, and habits which enable a plant or animal to live in a particular habitat is called adaptation. And we see the example of camel which are adapted for to live in the desert. Okay, so there are some components of habitat. We already discussed the habitat. Two components are there, uh, biotic components and abiotic components. In biotic components, only three components are there: plant, animal, and microorganism. Microorganism means the organism which has their size in micrometers, and we cannot see these type of organism by naked eyes. We are using the microscope or the lenses to see these type of organism. And abiotic components, in abiotic components, there are five abiotic components or non-living components. We already discussed abiotic components are non-living components and biotic components are living components. Okay, so in non-living component, light, which is light, temperature, water, soil, air. Okay, we know that the plants, animals, and microbes all are the biotic components. These biotic components cannot live without the presence of abiotic components. Means these all biotic components depend on the non-living components or abiotic components, and both biotic component and abiotic component are interact with each other, or both are depend on each other also. Okay, so first we discussed light. Light, we know that, and we already discussed in previous chapter. Light is the necessary for the plant growth or the animal growth. Okay, the sunlight is essential for the survival of all the biotic components, means plant, animal, microorganism. We know that sun is the ultimate source of energy for all the living organisms. Without sunlight, we cannot expect life on the earth. Okay, and the sunlight affect, you know that sunlight affects the growth, it affects the growth, it affects the flowering, it affects the seed germination, and many other ways it affects the plant. Okay, some plants are indoor plants. These plants grow in our homes or in shadow. They are growing, and they grow very long and faster, but these are become delicate and weak due to the absence of direct sunlight. They get the light, reflected sunlight from the different sources. Okay, light also affect animals. Well, the next point, light also affect the animals. How? For example, some animals live in caves, and some live in burrows where sunlight does cannot reach. They have very much reduced eyes. The organism which live into the caves or burrows, they have very reduced eye. And uh, but and many some examples are those type of animals, they don't have eyes because they live into the caves. For example, Proteus and Amblyopsis, which I show you the pictures of these organisms, Proteus and Amblyopsis. It is you see here Proteus. This is organism which live in the caves. See the picture of this organism, Proteus. It's don't have eyes. It's have only senses to move or to sense the danger. Okay, they don't have eyes. And another example of amblyopsis. Yes, this is amblyopsis. It is a type of fish which live into the caves under the sea, and they don't have eyes. You see in the pictures, they don't have eyes. They this only sense the things. Okay, so sunlight is necessary. We know that. And the next point, some examples of another type of animals. We named that nocturnal animals. What is nocturnal animals? The animals which are adapted to live into the night. Okay, for example, bat, cockroaches, owl are called nocturnal animals as they active during night. Okay, and the next factor, non-living factor or abiotic component was the temperature. Temperature is necessary to regulate the growth of the organisms or plants. Okay, and for the it regulates the movement, it regulates the reproduction of the animals. Reproduction means uh, the organism laying eggs or childbirth. It is the organism production of new organisms from the old. And morphology is the physiological change in the organisms. For example, uh, when frogs give eggs, and from the eggs a larva is coming out. A larva. That's name is tadpole. This larva has tail, but when its growth and it lost their tail and become a frog. This we called morphology. Changes in their physical properties we known as morphology. Okay, and in other aspects of life, temperature is a fact in different aspects of life. And in animals living, some animals live which are living in hot areas like snakes, desert, rat, lizard are not able to get sufficient water. These are not in hot areas. They are not get sufficient water, so they have thick skin and do not sweat. They have thick skin and they do not have sweat glands to secrete the sweat like us. Okay, and desert animal, for example, some desert animals we see. Camel. Camel have a long legs. And what's the benefit of long legs? Because it helps to lift them, their body from the ground, and avoid the direct contact with the hot ground. Like this, uh, the camels are adapted to live in the desert, and their paws are very wide and their legs are very long because to lift their bodies from the hot ground, or to avoid the direct contact of the hot ground of its body. Okay, and their lips also adapted to eat the foods from the plant. They have spines, so the spines are not affect the camels. Okay, and water. Yes, we know that water is very most important abiotic component. All living organisms need water for survival. All living organisms, maybe uh, plants or animals. Many more examples are there for the plants or animals. These all living things need water for their survival. So some examples are there. First we see the aquatic plant. Aquatic plant means the plant which grows in water are known as aquatic plants. The aquatic plants have some following adaptations. Adaptations means they change their some features, specific features to live into the water. Which features they have and which adaptations they adapt? Root system is very root system is poorly developed because the aquatic plant does not need to penetrate the roots into the soil, so they don't have a developed roots. They have poorly developed roots. Okay, and air filled in cavities. Air is filled in the cavities of plants. For what? When air is filled, these are able to float onto the water, surface of the water. Okay, and the air make them floating, spongy. Floating means buoyant means floating, float onto the water. Okay, and spongy became the plants spongy. And leaves in submerged plants. Submerged means the plants are merged into the water. These type of plants are known as submerged plant. These are sink into the water. Okay, they have thin and narrow leaves. Submerged plant, but the floating plants that float onto the surface of the water have big, flat with waxy coating. Okay, and in desert plant, there are some example of desert plants. They also adapt some specific features, well-developed root system, because in the desert the water does not get from the upper surface of the soil, so they need well-developed root system to get the water from the soil to deep to the soil. Okay, stem is succulent. Stem is succulent means pulpy. They don't have a hard structure in the stem, and spongy. It, its stem is succulent, means soft and spongy, which help to storage of water. This stem help the plants, desert plant, to storage water, because we know that in desert water is present in very less amount. It is also green for the photosynthesis because these are adapted for it. Okay, and stomata in the surface of the green surface of the plant, of the desert plant. Stomata, sunken stomata means open and closed stomata are less in number, because we know that from the stomata water is uh, evaporates from the stomata by the process of transpiration, so they have less stomata, so the evaporation is also less. And the leaves of the desert plant, like cactus plant or opuntia, leaves either very small or converted into spines. Leaves are either very small or these are converted into spines. Okay, so we see some examples also here. These are the plants which grows in the uh, desert, and they have a spine. These have a green stem. Okay, and these are adapted and deep root system they have. And some animals are there which live into the desert, and they live in the burrows in the desert, like rat, snakes. Okay, rat and snakes. And fishes, it has following adaptation, because these are live into the water and they are adapted for it. They have tapering ends at the mouth or at the tail, from the medium, from the middle part of the body. And because of the slippery skills, they are easily swim into the water. Slippery skills which help in swimming, and they have gills for the respiration to take the dissolved oxygen from the water. And phytoplanktons, it is a type of plants which grows into the water or float into the water. The floating plants which live into the water are known as aquatic plants. Okay, aquatic plant or phytoplanktons. These are floating plants in aquatic habitat. And zooplankton, the small animals floating on the surface of the aquatic habitat are known as phytoplanktons. Both are the aquatic living things. Okay, here some pictures are there. These are the pictures of aquatic plants. First one is hydrilla. It is a submerged plant. It is a submerged plant, soft and flexible stem it have, and leaves are like needle, poorly developed delicate roots, and in Nelumbu means lotus plant we know that uh, it has a it is a rooted floating plant. It has large leaves for the floating on the surface of water. And the next example of is a cornea, and we also known this plant as a water hyacinth. Okay, it is a free floating plant, and they have large leaf for the floating and bladder like bootius for buoyancy. Buoyancy means to move the upper surface of the plant. Okay, and to avoid the sink into the water. And some aquatic plant, desert plant. These are the desert plant. It is Opuntia, a stem of succulent and plant showing shallow and branched root. It have shallow and branched root. Some thick and green stem. It have thick and green stem, and they have spines, modified leaves. Leaves are modified into spines. And next example, agave. It is also a succulent plant showing flashy green leaves, root, and stems. Okay, and algae, known as true xerophyte. It is a true xerophyte means it is a desert plant category. So it is a two xerophyte plants which live into the uh, which are able to live in the desert. Okay, showing very deep root system. It has very deep root system to grow into the desert. Okay, I hope you will understand. If you have any doubts, so you can ask. Good luck.